Okay, today we will be doing the long tail cast on, which is much like the simple cast on, except you'll be using the tail yarn as well as the working yarn. The trick to the long tail cast on is to make sure you leave yourself enough yarn for the tail. If you don't leave yourself enough, then you won't have enough yarn for every cast on stitch, and there's nothing you can do but start over. So experience goes a long way. You can also try estimating using the gauge given in the pattern if you're using the same weight yarn and needle size. So what you'll do is start with a slip knot shown here. Slide it on your needle, tighten, and then in your left hand you will take both the tail and the working yarn and clasp it with your 3 fingers. Then with your thumb and forefinger, you will separate the 2 strands of yarn. This can easily be done by inserting your thumb and forefinger between the strands, pulling them apart, and then pulling your needle forward. It gives you this V shape. Now we're going to number the strands so you know what I'm talking about. This is strand 1 that runs behind your thumb. This is strand 2 that runs behind your forefinger. To make the cast on stitch, you take your needle under the start of strand 1 over to strand 2. The first yarn you see for strand 2, you take your needle and you tip it under on the far side and bring it through strand 1's loop around your thumb. Then you release your thumb and forefinger, pull the yarn to your needle, and make the V again. You've cast on your first long tail cast on stitch. Let's do that again. So on strand 1 that runs behind your thumb, you take the first strand and put your needle under it. You travel over top of your thumb strand to the first part of your forefinger strand number 2. You take your needle over the top of that to the far side, tip it under, catch it, bring it through the loop on your thumb, and release. You pull the stitch 2 and you've cast on another stitch. Let's just cast on a few of those. Another tip for this cast on technique is that you want to pull the yarn to your needle, but you don't necessarily want to pull it tight. This is because, you can see here, the cast on makes a braid that runs on the bottom side of your needle. It's a very nice finish, but it's a little less flexible or elastic than the traditional simple cast on. So you don't want it to pull or tucker if you start knitting. So make sure that it is pulled to the needle but not tight. So that is your long tail cast on.